these intersections that a modern day practitioner has, like a priest even such as yourself, who is carrying on a full-time job in the world, carrying on family life with a couple of children, and also maintaining a practice. Can you speak to us about what that's actually like?
Well, it's difficult sometimes, of course. I think all of us struggle to find how to integrate practice into our lives. Sometimes it does seem like it would be easier to go away to a monastery and have nothing but practice to focus on. But in our tradition, that just isn't the way most of us lead our lives. And so, we try to find opportunities to practice at work, with family, to be present, to be mindful, to incorporate some aspect of sitting into everything we do, and then also to carve out time just to sit. And I try to do that before I start each day.
So Coben, I understand, encouraged students to refer to him by his first name, and is still, I know, around here popularly referred to as Coben. And I understand that this is also unique. How is this unique? And how is this unique?
It's just very unusual. In any temple in Japan, not only would you refer to people with their full name or their last name, but they would have some sort of honorific title like sensei or roshi. And Coben just wouldn't have any of that. He just wanted us to refer to him, the way you would refer to a good friend. As I said in my talk, it's almost like Pope Francis asking people to call him Frank. He took his practice very seriously, but he didn't take himself seriously, and he didn't let us take ourselves seriously either.
I understand that Coben helped found Tassajara and then went on to open these other temples. And you talked about a difference between the practice environment at Tassajara versus some of the other temple environments. And could you tell us about that?
Sure. I think Cohen was invited to come over and help get Tassajara off the ground, in part because he was really an expert in all of the ritual and form that they practiced at Eiheiji, at the largest training monastery of our tradition in Japan. So he knew everything about ritual and about formal Zen practice, and helped establish this fairly complicated set of rituals that they still do at Tassajara. Practice there is still quite formal. But what's interesting is when he had the chance to start his own temples, like Jikoji and Hokoji and several others, he did something very different. He established this very informal style of practice. He insisted on everyone addressing him by his first name, which is just really unheard of. Although we have robes and some services, he really tried to strip everything down as much as possible to the minimum and just focus on the actual practice itself and the teachings at their core.
Wonderful. And our Dharma sister Judy is putting together a book that includes a compilation of Coben's teachings. What part of that book is the most personally relevant or touching for you?
Well, the whole project is really wonderful, and I'm so happy that Judy has taken this on as such a labor of love. She's been working on it for years and years. One of the aspects of formal practice that Coben maintained was lectures. That he would lecture every day during a sesshin, and every time he was up here for a Sunday sitting, and that was a very important part of his teaching. We haven't been able to hear those teachings for a long time now, since he's been gone, and so to have them, be able to have his words come alive again after so long is just wonderful. The part of the book that I talked about today is where he talks about the life of the Buddha, and I find that very, very interesting. And the Buddha led such a interesting and complicated life. In some ways so different from everything we experience here, but in some ways he was wrestling with the same things. Some of the very things that you just mentioned of, how do you juggle responsibilities with your desire to practice, and I think the decisions that he made are very instructive for all of us.
Thank you.